One really big important thing that was mentioned in the second dev livestream by Chris Proctor was the fact that Mountaintop would no longer one-shot Guardians in the Crucible. It was also mentioned that Recluse's Master of Arms would no longer be that 50% buff it had been in the past. It had previously been nerfed to 20, and it seems like now it's going to be nerfed to about 15. One thing we aren't 100% sure on is how much damage Mountaintop will be doing inside of Crucible after these changes, and we're not exactly sure if the damage buff for Master of Arms, the 15%, also works inside of Crucible, or if it is a different damage number like they do with some other perks. We did learn from Destiny Massive Breakdown that Desperate Measures is going to be a 10% buff, and then it will go to 20% on a ability kill, and it can stack up to 30%. So that is going to be even better than Master of Arms, depending on the situation. And the final weapon I want to go over is Luna's Howl, and that's not because of Magnificent Howl. It got a really big nerf to where I don't think that that's even going to be the god roll, but I want to talk about Kill Clip. Basically, once you get kill clip procced on this thing and you get the 3 headshot kill, you get kill clip. This season, if you get 3 headshots, you're going to get Radiant. So all you have to do is get a kill with 3 headshots. You're going to have Radiant and kill clip, which is going to 1 head, 2 body, any Guardian under, I believe, 8 resilience, and then it's going to 2 head, 1 body, any Guardian above that. I also wanted to quickly touch on Hammerhead. It's going to have Under Over, which is going to help you deal with Barricade Titans inside of the Crucible. Not that you get heavy that much, but LMGs are much better than grenade launchers right now because grenade launchers just feel bad in Crucible. But it's also going to have Tap the Trigger or High Impact Reserves, and I don't know how High Impact is going to affect the TTK in Crucible, but it might be something to look into. And if you want to know more about all the perks on all these weapons that I've mentioned and the other weapons returning into the light, you can check out this video that I posted the other day. And consider subscribing if you haven't already, because it's completely free. So, Mountaintop has access to 2 perks that could completely change the landscape of the Crucible. While, yes, these perks aren't free, and they aren't free one-shots like Mountaintop had been in the past, they are things that we need to look into, because they quite possibly could be the one-shot meta for Mountaintop, which would be insane. The first perk I want to talk about is Harmony, because I feel like if it's a special weapon, it has to do enough damage to almost kill, so a 20% damage buff to a weapon inside a Crucible, I imagine would be enough to kill, but there's a chance that it doesn't. This perk states that final blows with any other weapon other than Mountaintop grant a damage increase, and that damage increase is 20%. It also gives it 15 handling for 8 seconds. It's 7 at base, but we already know that these weapons will be getting enhanced perks, so we're going to just say 8 seconds because who isn't going to enhance their Mountaintop? So basically the idea is you would get a kill with your other weapon being Recluse or Luna's Howl, and this would proc Harmony and you could one-shot people with that. And it has a duration, not a shot requirement. So you can shoot infinite amount of Harmony shots if you've saved up the special ammo. And with the new special ammo economy, this could be an absolute menace. And the reason I said Luna's Howl and Recluse is because, well, I mentioned Luna's Howl with the Radiant kill clip being able to 1 head, 2 body, or 2 head, 1 body, depending on the resilience, but Recluse with Master of Arms at 15% does change your optimal TTK from 0.73 to 0.6. So at the top left, we're looking at Recluse. We have really good perks, but Dynamic Sway, Master of Arms, is going to give you that 15%, change your optimal TTK from 0.73 to 0.6, and that's with any resilience. And if you're wondering how I was able to check that, Frenzy is also a 15% damage buff, but it's really difficult to activate inside of the Crucible. But Funnel Web, which is the same exact frame as Recluse, does have Frenzy, which is the same buff, so basically I just did the math for that, which comes out to be 0.6. And if we look on the right hand side, we'll see Luna's Howl's perks, which I'm looking at Eye of the Storm, Encore, or Enlightened Action, maybe even Heal Clip. And the reason that I want to pair this with Kill Clip is because it can 1-head 2-body 8 resilience and lower guardians, whereas 9 and 10 resilience it can 2-head 1 body, which I know isn't the 2-tap that you could get from juggling Magnificent Howl, depending on how the perk works exactly with Slide Shot, but it's going to be really easy to proc Radiant. So you're just going to proc Radiant by getting the 3-tap, you're going to reload, you're going to have Kill Clip, so you're going to have Kill Clip for 5.5 seconds, and then you're going to have Radiant for 10 seconds, and you can keep chaining Kill Clip, and you'll have 10 seconds to basically slay with 1-head 2 bodies for most Guardians other than probably Titans in the Crucible. And either one of these that I mentioned is going to give the Harmony buff to Mountaintop. Now, there is a chance that the 20% for Mountaintop isn't enough to kill a Guardian, but it also has access to Recombination, which I will put on screen right now, which tells us that we get 6.25% damage buff for each stack of Recombination, and you can get to a total of 8 stacks of Recombination, which comes out to be a 50% damage buff. And if 50% damage buff to a special weapon isn't enough to kill someone in one shot, then Mountaintop will just not be good in Crucible at all, which makes this entire video irrelevant, except I don't think that they would do that. I'm aware that they wouldn't want Mountaintop to be super oppressive, but there's no way that they don't make this thing do enough damage to one shot with at least a 50% damage buff. And again, we're looking at the enhanced version of Recombination because these weapons will be enhanceable when the final shape releases. So your gameplay loop would require you to get 8 kills with either your Recluse or your Luna's Howl, but a 0.6 TTK is incredibly competitive and SMGs are still pretty decent, especially if you play Titan with Peacekeepers, and Luna's Howl being able to 1-head 2-body people and just being a 140 once 140s get the buff with the April 9th update that allows them to do enough damage to actually 3-tap outside of range just a little will make them incredibly competitive, because the only reason I'm not using a 140 is they just don't have the range to compete with 120s, but they have a very competitive TTK of 0.87. And while Kill Clip Radiant on Luna's Howl, again, doesn't change the TTK, it does make the ease of use significantly better. You're just going to 1-head 2-body most Guardians, or 2-head 1-body any Titans pretty much. And you'll kill chain enough with Recluse or Luna's Howl to get that 50% damage buff on Mountaintop. Again, if you're not a fragger, this probably isn't the build for you, but there's also a chance that you don't need that much damage added to Mountaintop. Maybe you just need the 20% for Harmony, so you just get 1 kill and you can get a kill with Harmony Mountaintop, or you just have to build your Recombination stacks to be high enough to be able to get that one shot with Mountaintop. I'm really looking forward to these weapons coming back, and as soon as I get a Mountaintop with Harmony or Recombination, I will make a video on it and we will confirm it, and I will do the same thing with Recluse to make sure that Master of Arms does 15% in the Crucible. There may also be a play where Magnificent Howl is just super good, and maybe it's even better with Radiant on Luna's Howl, but we don't really know until we get our hands on this stuff. But I wanted people to be prepared for this meta that may arise from these changes and these weapons returning. I'm excited to see these weapons return. I hope you guys are too. If you haven't subscribed, do it, because who else is making content like this? And I hope to see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. Oh, hit that like button. Take care.